Welcome back to the final installment of my thoughts on every single Thomas promotional material out there. For this video, we will be briefly talking about the stories and stunts, playtime with fans, and all the documentaries including the English ones in the UK. First, I want to express my brief thoughts on Playtime with Fans. This is a short-lived series of shorts about Thomas stories reenacted by children by using toys. I haven't seen this series, but I do know that it was narrated by Michelangelo and that only 3 episodes were produced. If I have seen it, I probably would have enjoyed it. Up next are the stories and stunts, which I regret not mentioning earlier. All I can say about this series is I'm not really satisfied with it because it's just like Watch Out Thomas and all those other videos where children narrate the stories. And I don't want to repeat myself from part 3 on this mini-series. Now let's move on to the learning/interactive segments. To be honest, I enjoyed watching most of these. Sure, some of them were quite gimmicky like the CGI ones from the new model era, but at least they have plenty of educational value unlike certain shows. Case in point, The Right Whistle for Thomas, which teaches kids on which of these suit Thomas very well. Other examples of fun learning segments include the Earl's Quiz, which challenges the attention skills of their target audience, and the ones narrated by Sir Topham Hatt, such as the Calling All Engines segments, which should not be confused with the 2005 special of the same name. These are some of the best parts of the Renaissance era because I enjoy listening to their respective voice actors saying their lines and teaching kids about which engine is which and stuff like that. Oh, and I also like the landmarks of Sora too, which talk about different places on Sora, such as Ulstead Castle, and I think Rob Ragshaw does a great job narrating them. And last but not least, the documentaries. Before we start with the English-speaking ones, one Japanese documentary I forgot to talk about was The Secret Journey of Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't really know about this one, nor have I seen it on YouTube, but all I know is that it was made during the 70th anniversary of the franchise. Alright, now moving on to the English-speaking documentaries, including the UK ones. Let's first talk about the Thomas the Tank Engine Man documentary. This features interviews with the Reverend Wilbert Awdry himself, as well as a few other people including Michael Rosen, who is a famous Thomas fan and British celebrity. Oh, and did you know some of Wilbert's quotes in that interview were used as internet memes? One of my favorites was when he says, "No." That would be my reaction to anyone asking for forgiveness. Let's try it out. "Hey Wilbert, Mattel said they're very sorry for ruining your franchise with All Engines Go. Will you ever forgive them?"
No.
God, I love memes in general. Anyways, each of these documentaries contains some of my favorite parts, and it's not just with the interviews with the Awdry family, but also Broadcroft, David Mitton, and the making of Thomas the Tank Engine, where they showcase some of the models and sets. However, in the making of Thomas the Tank Engine, which was broadcasted in Australia in 1995, one thing that makes me feel somber was the scene where Wilbur was bedridden and coughing while being interviewed. This one makes me sad because this was the final time we got to see him being interviewed on screen. And 2 years later, he passed away. Yeah, 1997 was a pretty tough year in my opinion, and this is one of the reasons. There was another documentary made in 2021 titled A Day on Awdry's Railway, where they showcase the models and sets made by the Reverend Wilbur Awdry himself, such as Thomas, Percy, and the Farquhar branch line. This limited edition documentary DVD was also narrated by Wilbur Awdry himself, but with archival voice clips. And to be frank, I really wished all these documentaries were released in the US as well, because I would kill for a Region 1 DVD about Wilbert's model train layouts, as well as the Thomas the Tank Engine Man documentary. But overall, these documentaries are fantastic. I would totally recommend watching them with your family and friends, especially if you want to learn more about the franchise in general. And once again, they all deserve a US release on DVD and Blu-ray, besides the UK of course. Now, let me know in the comments section which of these things I've talked about are your favorite. And you don't have to agree with everything I'm saying, but try to understand and respect my opinions. Also, I would like to thank you all for watching this whole discussion mini-series of mine. It's been a long trip, hasn't it? And I also would like to thank Scarloli Fun for requesting me this because it's worth it. Lastly, am I going to discuss my thoughts on the All Engines Go promotional material, including the train school one? Well, I would have to say no, because I'm trying my very hardest to avoid this reboot like the bubonic plague, for the most part, that is. But what I'm really going to talk about next time are the top 5 positives of All Engines Go, so stay tuned for that. This is Trevor Davis, signing off.